You love your cat. That's not in question. You feed them well. You make sure they have what they need. You think about their comfort in ways that would probably surprise people who don't have cats. You are, by any reasonable measure, a good cat owner. And you are almost certainly doing one specific thing, regularly, without knowing it, that your cat finds genuinely difficult to handle. Not occasionally, not in rare circumstances. Consistently, as part of the normal texture of your daily life together, you are doing something that registers in your cat's nervous system as a source of stress. Most cat owners never find out. Not because the signs aren't there, but because the signs are subtle, and because the thing causing them is so ordinary, so well-intentioned, so woven into how we naturally interact with animals we love, that it never gets examined. Let's examine it. 1. The thing is touch. Specifically, touch that arrives without invitation. Your cat is sitting somewhere, resting, or looking out the window, or simply existing in that self-contained way cats have that looks like nothing but is actually a whole internal life running quietly. You walk past, and you reach down, and you pet them. Or you pick them up because they look soft and the impulse is immediate and strong and you've done it 1,000 times before. Or you sit next to them on the couch and you start stroking them before they've had a chance to register your presence and decide how they feel about it. All of these are the same thing. Touch that wasn't requested. Contact that began before your cat made any signal that they wanted it. This is the one. This is what stresses your cat out more consistently than almost anything else you do, and the reason it's so difficult to identify is that your cat usually tolerates it. They don't always pull away. They don't always vocalize. They often just sit there, receiving the attention, looking like they're fine. They are not always fine. 2. What their body is saying while they sit still. There is a specific cluster of signals that cats display when they're experiencing what behaviorists call overstimulation or unwanted contact. Most owners have seen these signals. Almost none of them have learned to read them. The tail begins to move. Not the slow, gentle sway of a relaxed cat. A low, deliberate flick. Sometimes just the tip. Sometimes the whole tail shifting with a quality that is different from contentment in a way that is subtle but consistent. The skin ripples. Along the back, a small visible twitch that travels across the surface, like something beneath it is trying to shake off a sensation. This is an involuntary response. Your cat cannot control it. It is their nervous system communicating a state their face is not showing you. The ears shift, slightly back or rotating away from you, or flattening just enough to change their angle without going all the way flat. The head lowers fractionally. The body becomes more dense, more contained, less draped and relaxed, and more held together. None of these are dramatic. None of them look like distress from a distance. Together, they are your cat's body saying, in the clearest language available to it, "This is too much, and I would like it to stop." And most of the time, the petting continues. Because the signals weren't seen, or weren't understood, or were understood but the impulse to keep touching was stronger than the information being received. 3. Why uninvited touch is different from invited touch at the level of their nervous system. Here's what's happening beneath the behavior, and understanding this changes everything. Your cat's nervous system never fully turns off. Even in sleep, some level of environmental monitoring continues. This is not anxiety. This is the baseline operating state of a small predator that is also, in many ecological contexts, prey. The monitoring is structural. It doesn't switch off because they live in a safe house with a person who loves them. When you approach your cat and touch them without warning, without invitation, without the small sequential cues that allow their nervous system to prepare for contact, you are activating a startle response at whatever level your approach triggered it. Sometimes that level is very low. Sometimes it's higher. It depends on how deeply they were resting, how alert they already were, how your approach registered in their peripheral awareness. Even at a low level, that activation costs something. It requires their system to shift from a resting state into an alert one, assess the stimulus, determine it's you and therefore not dangerous, and return to baseline. That cycle, run dozens of times a day across hundreds of interactions, accumulates. Invited touch works differently. When your cat approaches you or makes a signal that they want contact, their nervous system has already done the preparation. They've decided. The contact arrives into a system that is ready for it, and the result is what you see in a cat who is genuinely enjoying being petted. The eyes close, the body softens. The purr deepens into something unhurried. There's no monitoring happening beneath the surface because the monitoring already occurred and found nothing to flag. Same touch, completely different experience. The difference is entirely in who initiated it. And if this is making you rethink something you do every day, hit like and subscribe. It helps us reach more cat owners who want to love their cat in a language that actually feels like love to the cat. 4. The specific places that are most vulnerable to this. Not all uninvited touch lands the same way. Some areas of your cat's body are significantly more sensitive to unexpected contact than others, and touching them without invitation is more likely to produce a stress response regardless of how gently you do it. The belly is the most obvious one and the most widely known. The belly is where all of a cat's vital organs sit, unprotected by bone. Exposing it is an act of trust that cats reserve for moments of extreme safety. When a cat rolls onto their back and shows you their belly, they are not inviting you to touch it. They are demonstrating how safe they feel. These are different things, and conflating them is one of the most common mistakes cat owners make. Touching an exposed belly without invitation is, from your cat's perspective, a violation of something offered in good faith. They showed you their vulnerability, and you reached for it. That registers. The base of the tail is another area of high sensitivity. Many cats experience this as overstimulating even when they initially seem to enjoy it. The skin there is densely innervated, and the line between pleasant sensation and too much sensation is shorter there than almost anywhere else on their body. The lower back, just above the tail, the paws, the whiskers. All of these are areas where uninvited or continued contact past the point of welcome produces a stress response more reliably than touch to the head or the cheeks or under the chin. Watch what your cat tolerates versus what they lean into. Those are different things, and the difference matters. 5. What to do instead, and what changes when you do it. The adjustment is small in practice, but significant in what it communicates. Before you touch your cat, offer them the choice to initiate contact. Extend one finger, or your hand held loosely, close enough that they can reach it if they want to, but not so close that you've already entered their space. And then wait. If they move toward it, if they sniff it, or push their face against it, or rub their cheek along your hand, that's your signal. They've decided. The contact that follows is invited, and their nervous system knows it. If they don't move toward it, if they look at it and look away, or hold still without orienting toward you, that's information too, not a rejection of you, a statement about this particular moment. They're not in the mood for contact right now, and they've told you clearly without having to escalate, to pulling away or vocalizing, or eventually biting, because the subtler signals went unnoticed. What changes when you start doing this consistently is not what most people expect. They expect their cat to be more distant, less accessible, harder to get affection from. What actually happens is almost always the opposite. A cat who learns that your approach includes the option to say not now will stop bracing for contact that arrives without warning. The low-level tension that accumulated across all those uninvited interactions begins to clear. And into that cleared space, they start initiating more, coming to you more readily, staying longer when they arrive, seeking contact in the places and moments when they actually want it, which turns out to be more often than the stress was allowing. You get more of your cat by asking first, every time. 6. The cat who flinches is not broken, they're responding correctly. I want to end with something that matters, and that often carries more weight than people are ready for when they first hear it. If your cat flinches when you reach for them, that flinch is information. It is not a personality flaw. It is not them being difficult, or ungrateful, or poorly adjusted. It is a nervous system responding exactly the way a nervous system responds to a pattern of contact that arrived without invitation often enough that anticipating it became the default.
Flinching is a learned response, which means it can be unlearned. Not quickly, and not by trying harder to pet them, but by consistently offering the choice and consistently honoring whatever answer comes back.
Over time, with enough patience and enough proof that the reach will wait for them to decide, The flinch softens. The body that used to tighten when you move toward it starts to stay loose. The cat who used to monitor your hands starts to stop monitoring them. That transformation, from a cat who braces to a cat who leans in, is one of the most significant things you can build with an animal. And it starts with something almost embarrassingly simple. You stop assuming the answer is yes. You ask, you wait, and you let whatever they say be enough. Because a cat who chooses to be touched, who walks across the room specifically to push their face into your hand, is not tolerating you. They're not being polite. They're not making the best of a situation they can't escape. They're telling you, with their whole body, that this is what they wanted.